championship round. Vying for the women's last spot are Marna Neubauer and Wendy Bruce. Wendy Bruce controlled her first round opponent from vaulting to florex and both events in between. In the qualifier, Marna Neubauer had a strong vault, but needed terrific tumbling to move into this round against Wendy Bruce. The two men fighting for the last spot are Mike Williams and Patrick Kirksey. In the first round, Patrick Kirksey was so solid that he set a 7-point margin of victory record to spearhead him into this second round. His opponent, Mike Williams, had a dogfight. Winning only 3 of 6 events, it was sheer determination that put him into round 2. Round 1 scores are erased, but momentum of excellence is not. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, and the United States Gymnastics Federation present the 1989 U.S. Challenge. Today it is the end of the semifinals, featuring Wendy Bruce against Marna Neubauer, and for the men, Patrick Kirksey challenges Mike Williams. Welcome to the Denver Coliseum for another Friday night of gymnastics. Hello, everyone. I'm Leandra Riley, and this is our final semifinal matchup for you here on ESPN. Let's take a look at the brackets. First, for the women, of our 6 semifinalists, 2 have advanced to the finals. This is our third and final matchup between Wendy Bruce and Marna Neubauer. On the men's side, our field of 12 was first paired to 6, and our 2 finalists already are Lance Ringnauld and Mark Warbutton, and now it is up to Mike Williams to take on Patrick Kirksey for the third and final slot. And here to talk about gymnastics is an Olympic gold medalist, Bart Connor. And Bart, let's first talk about the men. We have a tough matchup between Mike Williams and Patrick Kirksey.
This will be an interesting pairing, actually. Mike Williams is a lot of fun to watch. He can do a lot of tricks, but he doesn't have the competitive experience that Patrick Kirksey has. Patrick really is mellowing into a really fine, solid competitor for the U.S. team.
On the women's side, it is Wendy Bruce. You saw her here on ESPN winning the mixed pairs. She's up against Marna Neubauer. Should be a good matchup.
Marna is rather inexperienced. She's on the junior team. Wendy really is starting to come into her own. She's very exciting to watch.
All right, when we come back, we will have the fight for the final spot in our final championships. Stay with us. The semifinals are coming up in a moment. We are back at the 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Challenge here in Denver, Colorado. We are going to begin with Olympic rotation order, and that means men's 4 exercises first. The ladies will begin on vaulting, but since the women only compete on 4 events, we have 2 extra events for the men. They go on 6, so the women will not be involved in this round. Mike Williams is our first competitor. Again, he is up against Patrick Kirksey. Floor exercise, our first rotation. Mike Williams is 20 years of age, and he attends school at Houston Baptist University.
He is a very, very explosive tumbler, and this will be an interesting matchup because Mike got a 9.5 in the preliminary, Patrick Kirksey got a 9.75, and yet I think Mike can do better. Let's see his mount. Nice, very high, 1.5 twisting, 1 and 3. He's taking his time as he sets up for this press to handstand. Good tight line. Once again, the judges are looking for mostly tumbling elements, but then they need to show a strength element. They need to show good balance on one leg or one hand, but it's primarily a tumbling event still. That's a nice combination. Front through to back 1.5 to a punch front.
To a chassé tour, jeté cartwheel. Interesting dance combination.
Front 1 and 3. Good combination for a third tumbling run. There's that balance on one foot, the oblique scale. Here's his last run. Should be a tuck double. Good form on the tuck double, just a little short in the landing.
Mike Williams from Houston, Texas.
I'd like to thank our supplier of athletic equipment for this event, American Athletic, incorporated the
Once again, let's see what happens on this first pass. It's a 1.5 twisting, 1 3/4 somersault. In the tucked position, you can see he dives, rolls out of it. No problem. The second tumbling run, use front and back tumbling. There's a pike front step out through to back tumbling right there. Back, 1.5 twist, right to another front move, front flip. This is an excellent double back dismount. Good form in the air. He's just a little short, but you can see he's trying to squeeze his legs together, keep good form, just a hair short on the landing.
The score for Mike Williams is 9.60. Now, in the first round, he received a 9.5, so he actually improved here in the second round. Again, a reminder, though, first-round scores do not carry through. It is only the 6 events that you compete tonight that will be added together to determine the all-around finalist.
Patrick opens his routine with a full twisting double back, and what's interesting to note is how clean the form is. These moves tend to look a little sloppy in the air, and yet at every given point, his opening tumbling run looks so clean and so precise. Here we go, full in. Just beautiful. Here's his front tumbling pass, front, handspring, front flip-flop, front full. Once again, he's attempting to cover the complete 40 by 40 area. So he opened with one diagonal pass, came back across the diagonal. Now he's going down the side. He's fulfilling a requirement here by doing a press to handstand, although that's not a requirement. The judges need to see a strength move of at least B value or medium value. Now he's made his way into the corner, and right here is another requirement, the Y scale, or a balance on either one foot or one hand, and most of the gymnasts select the 1 foot balance. It's much easier. And then the dismount covering the rest of the area, tuck double back.
And he too is a little under-rotated.
The gymnasts are tumbling really high today, and I think they're opening up just a little early because they're trying to really gauge those landings.
Again, the score he wants to beat is 9.60.
This is so clean. Watch the leg form on this full in. He doesn't even grab his knees. He makes the rotation so easily, keeping his knees together the whole time. Perfect form and a perfect landing. That's the way it's supposed to be done. His second tumbling run was the front work. Front step out, front handspring, front flip-flop to a front flip with a full twist.
And Patrick Kirksey receives a 9.8, setting another record for the USA single elimination format. 9.8, the highest score ever in the US Challenge. Really close together after one rotation. Patrick Kirksey has a 0.2 of 1 point lead, 9.8 to 9.6. The women have yet to compete. They are going to begin on the vault, where Wendy Bruce will vault first, following Marna Neubauer. Now, Marna Neubauer will get an opportunity to see the scores that Wendy Bruce achieves. Each vault will be scored separately for Wendy. The first vault will be tallied, then the second vault will be tallied, and the higher of the two is the score that will carry as her all-around performance.
Wendy is a very, very powerful vaulter. Wow. Tremendous distance on that vault, and actually, I know she could even do it better. She's doing the Yurchenko full in the laid out position. Watch her hands. They almost are off the back of the horse. She's way out there, and she's really does a good job at turning that into an incredible score. Watch this round off, and you can see here, she's just, hands just about off the back side of the horse. She keeps her body laid out, does a full twist, and nails the landing.
9.85 the score for that first vault, and we call that making chicken salad out of chicken feet, because her hands were not on that horse. How she did that, that defies description.
She, in fact, trains with the top gymnast in the U.S. right now, Brandy Johnson, down at Brown's Gymnastics Academy with Kevin Brown. They're good vaulters. Oh, that's the one.
There you see Kevin Brown in the background.
That time she got her hands on the horse and she got a good square push. But I have to admit, coming off the first vault where her hands almost completely slipped, she wasn't worried about making and nailing the landing this time. She was just worrying about getting a good push as she did there. Straight body, full turn, one hop.
Ironically, her second vault received a score of 9.80. So it is the score from the first vault that is going to carry 9.85. A nice way for Wendy Bruce to start the semifinals of the 1989 U.S. Challenge. Her opponent is Marna Neubauer, a young lady who is new on the gymnastics scene. She is just 14 years old. Marna Neubauer is coached by Al Fong.
They have a very strong program, the Great American Gymnastics Express in Blue Springs, Missouri. Okay, now that was a Yurchenko vault in the laid out position. She didn't do the twist as we saw Wendy Bruce attempt. Once again, it's a round off onto the board. Back handspring onto the horse. Good, clean, straight body position in the Yurchenko vault. Watch the hand placement just right on top of the horse there. That was about right. Actually, the gymnasts want to have their hands on the board side of the horse so that they can use a little bit of the angle of the curvature of the horse to get a good solid block to get them up in the air. That vault, by the way, has a maximum value of 9.7.
She received a 9.45. Here's her second attempt.
A little bit better that time and a great landing.
The score she wants to beat is 9.85. Interestingly, she's 5 feet 4 inches tall, kind of long for a gymnast.
Good position that time, a little bit better push on the horse. Good straight body position. This time, she was farther from the horse. And of course, that's one of the things the judges are looking for. Height and distance from the horse. Nice clean form in the air, and of course, a great landing.
Her second vault was scored higher than her first, but it's still 0.3 of a point off of Wendy Bruce's number. Marna Neubauer receives a 9.55 for her second vault. That is the score that will carry into her all-around total. The men are ready to compete on their second apparatus. Patrick Kirksey will be up first. Pommel horse is the second event.
This is going to be a critical event in this challenge because Patrick Kirksey is outstanding here. Mike Williams had a little trouble in the qualifying round, so if Williams is going to give Patrick Kirksey a run for his money, he's going to have to do it here. Oops, travel up to the pommel, pommel loop, work without the pommel, very difficult stuff. But notice the nice, clean rhythm. He never rushes. He always seems in control. It's a very impressive style Patrick Kirksey has. I know when I was on the pommel horse, I was always panicked and swinging just a little faster than I needed to be. He seems totally in control and never really worried that he's going to make any mistakes.
I like that traveling dismount. 5 foot 10 inch Patrick Kirksey from Atlanta, Georgia.
At the end here, he does a loop around, up to a handstand, full turn off as he travels down the length of the horse. Very nice dismount. Good ending to a really clean routine.
After one rotation, he's 0.2 of a point ahead of Mike Williams. He received a 9.8 for his floor routine. Mike Williams received a 9.6. And now he's up first on the pommel horse. And he achieves a 9.6 for that pommel horse routine. And Mike Williams has got to do a pretty solid job now to stay close.
This will be really interesting to see if Mike can settle down and power through a very clean routine, opening room for very few deductions, because if he's going to make it a close competition with Patrick Kirksey, he's going to have to hit on his weaker events. He has 3 really outstanding events and 3 events where he can invite some errors. So this is one of them. He has to hit a clean routine here if he's going to make it a good challenge.
He needs a 9.85 if he wants to take the lead on this event.
Back more. Few minor form breaks. Oh, he's in trouble. 30 seconds. Now he was attempting a very difficult move down the length of the horse. Let's see if we can see what happens. He's going to reach all the way down the length of the horse on a front end Stockley out. Oh, he just sort of leaned too far initially. and he was completely out of control at the first part.